Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Guthrie. Welcome to Chem 283. The purpose of this video is to go over the syllabus and to give you an indication of how the class is going to be conducted. I do have both an online and an in-person section of this class, but they will be conducted very similarly, so this video should be good for both of you. There are a couple places that there are differences, and I will be sure to highlight those as we go through the syllabus. So I'm just going to start with Canvas because it's going to have all the information that you need for this class. So up at the top you can see there's a link for the syllabus and the video, which will be the one you're watching. Whether you're online or in person, you can come to my office hours on Monday and Thursday between 9 and noon, or you can use the Zoom link as shown here. The textbook is a PDF file that is freely available. You can download it with the textbook link right here, or you can do individual chapters, and I would recommend downloading the individual chapters just because sometimes the textbook itself does take a little bit of time to load. So if you want to search for something, it'll take a couple minutes to figure everything out. So individual chapters might be a little bit quicker for you. So first let me load up the syllabus and I will go through that with you very quickly. So as usual, all the pertinent information about where to find me and the class needs is at the top of the syllabus. So there's my office hours, my email address, and email is a really good way to get in touch with me. I'm pretty good with it. So if you have a question, please feel free to send me an email. The textbook, again, you can get that on Canvas or you can get it here. Class time, if you're in person, is from 1 to 1:50 p.m. in room 100 Strong Hall. If you're the online class, then it is asynchronous, so there is not going to be any specific time where you have to come to class. There are videos that I have prepared in place of having a live lecture. So here's a quick description of the class, the prerequisites that are required. Hopefully you have those. And since this is still a COVID semester, there are some specific requirements that are set out by the university that have to be followed, and you can find those requirements and guidelines using the two links that I have under COVID-related requirements. Now, since these will or could change during the course of the semester, please keep up to date with it. But right now, the requirement is that everybody must wear a mask, whether you're in the classroom or in the hallways. So anytime you're indoors, you have to have a mask on. If you're outdoors, you don't need to have one. Now, for myself, I am allowed to either wear a mask or not to wear a mask while I'm lecturing for you in-person students. So in the first day of class, we will discuss how that's going to work. If I need to wear a mask, that's fine. If you'd rather me not wear a mask because you can hear me better, that's fine too. There will be times when I will be circulating the class for the in-person section. So in that case, I will be wearing a mask as I am circulating the class. But maybe while I'm lecturing, I may not. That all depends on how comfortable you are with me not wearing a mask. So here's a schedule. Each day there is a different topic that we will cover, and the book sections are also listed. Tells you when exams are, tells you when the holidays are, and when the final exam is. Grading policy is pretty standard. However, there are 3 on-campus exams worth 10% each. That's whether you are online or in person. The exams will be in person, as well as the cumulative final exam. That is also in person, whether you're online or not. Quizzes, worksheets, and homework round out the rest of the grade. So as I said before, all the information and assignments and quizzes and whatnot can be found on Canvas. So let me go back there and show you how that works. So if you go under modules, what you will see is this. So all the modules are titled as a date. So each module starts on a Tuesday and it ends the following Monday. And if you click on the module itself, you will see everything that needs to be done during that week. So there are the slides for each of the chapters that we'll be going over. So if you're in person, you may want to download those because those are the same ones that I will be going over in class. And there's also a video related to those slides. And whether you're in person or online, you'll have access to that video. And the first thing that you should probably do are the quizzes. And the quizzes are online. They are multiple choice. Okay, so if we start the quiz, this is what it looks like. And the questions on each quiz are related to either the focus information on the worksheets, which I'll show you a little bit later, or the textbook itself. So some of the questions are derived directly from the textbook. So if you read the textbook, you should be able to find the answer. If they're not there, they're probably on the focus information on the worksheets themselves. So they're all multiple choice, as you can see here. There are not too many questions. Usually there are about 4 or 5, maybe 6 questions. And one important thing to note at the top of each quiz, so right around here, it tells you how many tries you have on the quiz. Now I think all the quizzes have 2 tries, so that means you can make a mistake once, and then if you want another try because you missed a couple questions, you can do that. So let's just say I choose a few answers here, and once I choose all the answers, then I can submit the answers. I can't answer one at a time because as soon as I push this submit questions button, I have used up one of my attempts. So let's just do this. And as you can see, I got the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. I got them all wrong. Okay, so I wasn't actually trying, obviously, but this is what happens when you get it wrong. If it's right, then you get a little green box and a check mark at the bottom. And now if you want to retry it, you can just put in your new answers and then submit your questions again. And then after you've submitted your questions, it will tell you your score. Okay, up here it says 0 out of 8 points. And I think if you do it a second time, let's just do this, submit my questions a second time, then it tells me my score on my last try was 0 out of 8 points, so I didn't get any of the questions right. But it will tell you how many points you got at the end of the quiz, and then that will be transferred to Canvas under the gradebook. Now the next thing you might want to look at under modules are the worksheets. So the first week we're going to be doing worksheets 1 and 2, and you can find those just by clicking on the worksheet, and you will see it right here. There's worksheet 1, worksheet 2. There's also the answers. I have some of them under the worksheets, and you could also see that they are under the modules as well, so you'll be able to find the answers. And the answers will become available on Fridays at 5:30. So that's after the online sections have finished the worksheets. So for you in-person students, the worksheets will be done every class, and they will be due at the end of every class. And for the online section, your worksheets will be due as shown on Canvas. So let's just take a look at the first worksheet to see what it looks like. So here it is. Every worksheet is going to have an indication of why you might want to study this, some learning objectives, and the learning objectives are going to be important because you can use these as your study guide, because all the questions that you will see during this semester will be related to those learning objectives. Worksheets tell you which chapter to look in the textbook, some prerequisites, usually that is some previous chapter or some previous concepts in a chapter that will be useful as you're going through this particular worksheet, some new vocabulary, and then the focus information. So as I said before, this is where you might find some answers to some of the quiz questions. Sometimes there's a lot of focus information, sometimes there's not as much. And then after all the focus information is where you will find the questions to the worksheet. So you notice that right at the very top, it says questions to be graded. Now each worksheet has a number of questions. Some are short, some are long, but in all cases there are only a couple questions that you actually have to hand in for points, and the rest are there for you to study. Now I highly recommend that you try to answer most of the questions on the worksheets, because all of the homework questions are going to be directly related to what is on the worksheet. In some cases, the worksheet will walk you through a problem. So it might give you question 1, A, B, C, D, where A, B, C, and D are the steps that you need to follow in order to answer the question. Whereas the homework will just ask you for step D. So if you're not quite sure how to do a homework question, you should be able to find the related homework or the related worksheet question to help you with the homework. And the other good thing about worksheets and the questions on the worksheets is that you will see these questions or questions that are really very close to these questions on exams. So there are a few hundred questions that you will see throughout the semester. Those are a whole bunch of questions that I've already written, and I see no need to write any additional questions. So if you can do the questions on the worksheet and you can do questions on the homework, you should be able to do the questions on the exam because they will be nearly the same as what you have already seen during class. So if you are in person, as I said before, In this case, you will be doing questions 1C and 2A. Hand those in at the end of class. And how it's going to work is the first 20 or 30 minutes or so I'll be doing a lecture, which will be related to the slides that you can download. And then the last 20 or 30 minutes of class will be to work on the worksheets. Now you can work on questions 1C and 2A only. You can continue to work on more questions because that's when I'm going to be there to help you. So it might be a good idea to work on a little bit more if you can. For those of you that are online, again, the questions are the same that you have to answer, but they will be due online and due at, I think they're on Fridays at 5 o'clock. Okay, and then after that, all the answers will be available for questions on the worksheets that are due in that particular week. All right, so let's just keep going through the module. As you can see here again, we have the worksheet 1 and 2 answers, as you saw under the worksheet link itself, but they're always here if they're not under the worksheet link yet. And homework is here. So usually there are 2 homeworks and 2 quizzes each week. The first week I'm only doing 1 of each. So homework 2 is really the first homework, and it's very similar to the worksheets. So very similar to the quizzes, and that it's online. But in this case, these are numerical values that you have to enter. And again, there are maybe 6, maybe 7, maybe fewer. It's, different homeworks have different amounts of questions. And some of them, like this first one, have multiple parts to it. But again, if you go to the very top, you can see how many attempts you have. Same thing as before. Answer all the questions, submit your answers. Once you push the submit button at the bottom, that is 1 attempt. And you can continue until you have 5 attempts, until you finish your 5th attempt. So if you find yourself on the 4th attempt and you still haven't got all the answers right, it might be a good idea in that case to contact me just to make sure that you're understanding it correctly and that you can get the questions right. And I have no problem helping you with homework. I also encourage you to help each other if you can. So that's pretty much how the class is going to work. Okay, if you want a little bit more information or a summary of the information, quizzes, worksheets, and homework is here. As I said before, all exams are on campus, whether you're in person or online. They will be in Strong 100, which is the same room that we have the in-person class. Exams will not be dropped. However, if you do miss an exam for whatever reason, right? If your dog eats your homework, if you have a car breakdown, if you end up getting sick, whatever it may be, you don't need to worry about getting a doctor's note. The weight of that exam will simply go to the final exam. Now, if you do have to miss a second exam for some reason, please get in contact with me because we might have to figure something out. Now, you must write the final exam in order to pass the course. So it's going to be on Tuesday, December 14th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. in the same classroom, Strong 100. A few miscellaneous things. I don't usually give extra credit. Usually I only do that if I make a mistake. For example, if I make a mistake in one of the questions, if I provide a question on an exam that can be interpreted a different way and people give some different answer that I didn't think of, but it still makes sense. For example, that might be a reason for me to give some kind of extra credit. Or if it comes to the situation where I feel that you need a little bit more work with a particular concept, I may make an extra assignment for everybody to complete. And that would be both for the online and in-person sections. So I would only be able to do that for an entire class. I can't give extra credit for an individual. So please don't ask, because if you do ask, the answer is just simply going to be no, because I can't do it for an individual. Now, if the university does shut down again, and that means completely shut down where we're not allowed to have in-person classes or in-person exams, then we will follow this shutdown procedure here. So for your online folks, it's pretty much going to be the same. You've been doing everything online anyway, so that will not change. For the in-person class, the worksheets will be transferred to an online form, so similar to what the online class is doing, but everything else should remain the same. As for exams, I will have to figure that out, and we'll give you more information about that if the time comes. Okay, so we'll have that discussion when the time comes. The rest of the syllabus just gives you some important dates and some other more university-related policies, so I'm not going to go over those in detail. And that's about all I have to say about the syllabus then. So if you have any questions about it, please let me know. You can email me. You can visit my office hours or Zoom hours. For those of you that are in the in-person class, you can ask me on the first day. I will give you an opportunity to ask me questions about the syllabus. whatever it might be, whether it's expectations, whether how the class is going to work, or what happens in this particular scenario, or whatever it might be. Okay, so I hope you all have a great semester. I'm looking forward to teaching you guys something, and hopefully it will be interesting, fun, rewarding, and hopefully you all do at least as well as you expect, but hopefully I can help you to do a little bit better than you expect. I will see you soon. Bye.